hearing a hum. Yeah. Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our seminar tonight. We are so grateful that we know that where few are there, the Lord is there. 2 or 3 are gathered in His name. And what amazing times we're living. Welcome everybody also that is watching on live on stream. We are having tonight starting a new seminar for health. It is called True Health Seminar. And we want to introduce our speaker. We have a new speaker tonight, is Sister Maryruth DIlling. Just a little bit about her background. For the past 4 years, the truth regarding what constitutes true health has become spreading around the world. From pasture germ theory to Beecham's terrain theory, people are becoming aware that our daily choices can make or break our health. Maryruth is a natural health professional. She has studied alternative medicine, natural remedies for over 40 years. She's passionate in educating, challenging, and encouraging people in their path to make lifestyle change to improve mental and physical wellness. Tonight, Maryruth will be sharing the foundational steps of true health and how to build your house to stand firm in the upcoming year's challenges. Maryruth gives a disclaimer for this and all the classes offered this weekend. She's not a doctor. At no time is the information presented to be taken as medical advice. And this presentation is being offered for educational purposes only. This information is for you to learn to make informed decisions that are discussed with your medical provider before making any changes in diet or habits. Although these classes are the result of over 40 years of studying natural remedies and achieving optimum health, Maryruth says, I do not guarantee any results. The information contained in this presentation is based on the foundations of good health. Our Creator made our awesome bodies in such a way they can heal if we apply His principles of health. Please help me to welcome Sister Maryruth DIlling in What is True Health. It's all yours, Sister Maryruth.
Good evening. We're going to start with a word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we just come and thank you so much for bringing us through another week safely to the Sabbath hours. I pray that you'll be with us. Help us open our minds and hearts to what you have for us to learn tonight. Lord, I pray that you will put your words in my mouth so that I say nothing outside of your will. And please, dear Lord, continue your work in each of us, bringing us in alignment with your truth. In Jesus' precious name, amen. So, what is true health? I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I think everyone knows my name. I'm Maryruth DIlling. My passion is to help people learn what they need to overcome their challenges so they can fulfill their God-given potential. I do have a bachelor's in communication science, which is deaf education. I have a master's in mental health counseling with play therapy certification. I am a certified health and life coach and a certified woman's coach, a certified art therapy coach. And I'm also working on certification as a fitness instructor now. I tend to like to learn. So what exactly is health? If we think about it, this is the dictionary definition. It's the overall condition of an organism at a given time. It's soundness, especially of body or mind, freedom from disease or abnormality. And it's the condition of optimal well-being. Now, Tanya, I don't think everyone, I have little forms. I want to mention this. If you could fill them out for me, I'd appreciate it. And it's also at the bottom, you can write your questions. If you come up with any questions, I will try to answer them at the end of each session. But if I can't get to them tonight because of time, then I will answer them before the next session starts. This is my favorite definition of disease. I prefer to say dis-ease. It's an effort of nature to free the symptoms from conditions that result from the violation of the laws of health. In the case of sickness, the cause should be ascertained. Unhealthful conditions should be changed and wrong habits corrected. Then nature is to be assisted in her efforts to expel impurities and to reestablish right conditions in the system. We're going to refer back to this in just a few minutes. So today we have an alphabet soup of health issues, of diseases outside of heart disease and diabetes. We've got MS, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue. There are over 100 autoimmune diseases, illnesses. And unfortunately, these are not found in adults only. It is now considered part of the norm for children to be sick. Over 50% of children today are diagnosed with some type of mental or physical health condition. There are babies, especially boys, being born with heart disease. Infants less than 6 months are being put on psychotropic medication. So psychotropic medication are your head meds. I don't understand that. Cancer is now the largest cause of death among children. In the documentary Food, Inc., they predict by 2030, over 95% of our children will have type 2 diabetes. And the projected rates for autism are even worse. Dr. Hulda Clark says that all illnesses come from parasites or poisons. Dr. Wallach says 98% of people die from complications of malnutrition. And that is something to consider in this country when we have such an obesity problem. I remember sitting in a health lecture one time, and the lady said, the doctor, she said, it's not necessarily that we are not consuming the nutrients, it's our body is unable to process the nutrients that we consume. That's something to think about. And that would explain why so many die from complications of malnourishment. And we know the well-known quote of, "We are what we eat." Food is not just food. It's not just something you stuff your face with. It actually talks to our DNA. Food turns our genes on and off. Today, we go to the doctor we have a symptom, whether maybe we've been having a headache for a while or nausea or vomiting, whatever. We go to the doctor. They might run a test, but not all the time. And they'll give you a prescription. At no time, there's no questions on diet, lifestyle, your stress levels, your mold exposure, insect bug bites, or EMF, electromagnetic frequency exposure. Doctors don't ask that. They are not interested in getting down to the underlying cause. What they're interested in is giving you a pill to cover up the symptom. But the problem is that symptom is like a red flag. You say, something's wrong. And if you come, take a pill to knock down that red flag, then something else is going to pop up. And then what you call this a side effect, right, of the medication? Some people call it something else, like sign of toxicity and poisoning. And so you go back and you're going, well, now I'm experiencing this. So they give you another pill to knock down that red flag. And then before you know it, you're being diagnosed with some life-threatening illness because the red flags weren't listened to. Hippocrates said, all disease begins in the gut. This is one of my broken records. Physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health begin in the gut. So tonight, I am going to be sharing the foundation of true health. It starts with nutrition, cleaning up the diet. There's been a lot of research over the years that a whole food, plant-based diet is being best for overall health in the long term. Examples, China study, which led to the documentary Forks Over Knives. There's Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, and Food, Inc. In fact, the two most common alternative cancer treatments, the Budwig diet is an example, and the Gerson therapy, both are based on eating a vegetarian, plant-based diet. The body needs over 90 different nutrients in order to operate optimally. The Western diet does not provide adequately even a small number of those. So when I'm working with someone, if I'm doing my class or something like that, I say, get out of the box. Think, instead of thinking, oh, I'm going to buy this package and this package and this package, think ingredients. Whether it's beans, rice, your fruits and veggies. Think ingredients rather than a packaged processed meal that you can stick in the microwave or dump in a pot of boiling water. And I will tell you, that's how I ate for years. For years. I did not know any better. And tomorrow I'll be sharing my own personal story. And I'll share with you what happened when I got out of the box. So we go from nutrition to exercise. And we know, we've heard it countless times, how exercise is essential for good health. Some people, they can be in such a state that they think, oh, there's no way I am going to be able to exercise an hour 3 or 4 times a week. Start where you can. Start with your kid. If you can only do 10 minutes, do 10 minutes. When I first started on my path to restored health, I started walking. And that's really one of the easiest exercises you can start with. And all I could do was walk the length of 2 houses. My granddaughter would walk with me. And we'd just go 2 houses and I'd say, I'm sorry, I got to turn around and go back. Oh, but Grammy, we didn't go very far. I said, I know, I'm sorry, but this is as far as I could go today. But the next day, I did it again. And the next day, again. And pretty soon, I was going 3 houses, and then 4 houses. And then before you know it, I was going to the end of the block and around the block. Today, I can just walk however I need, as long as I need. And I can even carry a weight on my back. Not a heavy weight, but I can. So the main thing is start where you are. And just as a side note, there was this man, y'all know what a rebounder is, those little mini trampolines? Okay, so there was this man whose wife was confined to a wheelchair. And he heard about the benefits of a rebounder. And so what he did is he sat her on that rebounder and he bounced her. Just with his arms, he just bounced her. And they started just 5-10 minutes a day. Did you know, over time, she was able to get out of that wheelchair and she was able to start walking. Okay? Those rebounders, they are fantastic. They are fantastic. It's one of my favorite ways to exercise. You think, oh, this isn't doing much. Oh, but it is. It is. So we have nutrition, exercise, and water. Water. We need to drink half our body weight in ounces of water a day at a minimum. So if you weigh 100 pounds, you need to drink 50 ounces of water. If you weigh 200 pounds, you need to drink 100 ounces of water. If you consume caffeine, you need to add another glass of water to that for every serving of caffeine that you drink. If you work in a hot environment, you need to be sure to replace your electrolytes. When you're sweating a lot, your electrolytes can get out of whack. One way to do that is to use Himalayan salt solution, which is called Sol. Very easy to make. Or you can get a product like Trace Minerals 40,000 volts and just put like a teaspoon in your glass of water. Oftentimes people will get headaches or even hungry because of dehydration. You can get brain fog because of dehydration. Sunshine. Did you know that over 90% of people are deficient in vitamin D? 90%. This boggles my mind because vitamin D is free. You know, we're told to avoid the sun between 10 and 3, but that's actually the best time to get the sun. The darker your skin, the longer time you need for exposure. The more padding we have, the more time we need for sun exposure. The morning sunlight, one of the best things we can do as far as exercise, as soon as you get out, you get ready and everything, and that sun is up, get out and do some walking in that sunshine. Let it get into your eyes. Wearing sunshades is not good because the sun needs to get into your eyes in order to make important chemicals for your body. Sunscreen. If you feel you are going to be out in the sun a whole lot and you don't want to burn, then find a sunscreen made from only natural ingredients. I happen to make my own if I need to. It's not hard. Coconut oil along with some essential oils. Carrot oil is really good. Vitamin E. Most of the sunscreens on the market today are toxic, and they actually can cause skin cancer. What happens is that they block the healthy rays and allow the harmful ones in. And if you talk about sunscreen and chlorine pool water, that is a big, big, big health hazard. So we need to get outside and get some rays. And it's really interesting that our body will automatically stop producing once you have received enough sunshine on your body to make 10,000 IUs. So if you were going to think about how much to take, that might be a good guide. And another thing about vitamin D is that if your level is above 65, that can prevent most breast cancers, and levels above 85 can prevent 95% of cancers. It's really amazing. People are so scared of getting skin cancer because of the sun, when the sun prevents so many cancers. Okay, breathe. Air. Without proper oxygen, cells in the brain can start to die within a matter of 3 minutes. 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. Okay, so negative ions are a must for proper health. So the air in our homes, we need to air our homes out every day, at least a little bit. It's because of to let in negative ions. Lack of sufficient oxygen is tied to over 85% of chronic health issues. See, when people breathe, we tend to breathe shallow, just up here. Breathe down here from our diaphragm. What I like to do, and I've gotten to a habit of this, is I'll take like 5 deep breaths several times a day. Just do that 5 times, several times a day. If I had like a cancer diagnosis, I would do it every hour. Because cancer is anaerobic. And when our cells are oxygenated and alkaline, cancer cannot grow. And I will tell you one more thing. When our breath is restricted, it takes 2 minutes to put your body in a state of acidosis. Yes. You know, wearing something to cover your face like this, a face diaper is what I'll call it, face diapers. 2 minutes, acidosis. You know what loves the state of acidosis? Cancer. We need to breathe. We need to breathe. Not only are 70% of our toxins is released through our exhalation. So if we're doing this and we're breathing them right back in, something to think about. Temperance. So most people think of temperance as just refraining from drugs and alcohol. It is that, but it's more than that. Temperance is actually using moderation for things that are healthy for you and abstaining from things that are harmful for you. Temperance is self-control. Unfortunately, the majority of people choose not to exercise self-control. They allow their appetites, whatever that appetite is for, to control. A lot of people, in order to make a change, they have to be in extreme pain to make a permanent change. For myself, I don't believe permanent change is possible without God giving us the strength to do so. We sure can't do it on our own. So food and chemicals, see, when we let our appetite control us, we're going to eat things that we want to eat, no matter how they affect us, whether that's sweets, whether that is the amount we eat. You know, we just pile our plate full. And a lot of times, the majority of people eat the way they grew up eating in their first 5 to 8 years of life. And it's only extreme pain that causes them to change. And as I said, tomorrow I'll be sharing my story. And I will share how that extreme pain led to my changing. Next is sleep. Sleep deprivation can lead to all sorts of health issues. I was doing a study once, and I found out that I don't remember, it's like 60%. I can't remember the percentage, but a lot of car accidents are because of sleep deprivation. You know, you get on the car, you're going the same place every day, and you sort of zoom out, and you're so tired, and you're just like, boom. Before you know it, you're in an accident. You know what? Our children are especially sleep deprived, and this can suppress the brain's ability to learn and remember. Trust. This is not the least important step, but it is the last one. We need to develop a spiritual life, trust in divine power. Research has shown that those who have a regular spiritual life, they're happier and healthier. And prayer has actually been shown to boost the immune system. I thought that was pretty cool when I was studying that. So this is the foundation. Nutrition, exercise, water, sunshine, temperance, air, rest, and trust in divine power. That is New Start, and that is your foundation. Well, now we are going to put walls on this foundation. Detox. So in today's world, we are bombarded by tens of thousands of chemicals. They're in the air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat, and the stuff we slather on our skin. We need to detox. Remember when I said at the beginning about the definition of disease? And I said that it says to help the body expel the impurities. That's detoxing. Some of the ways you can detox: number one, lemon water in the morning, 30 minutes before you eat anything else. Soaking in an Epsom salt bath. You can mix Epsom salt, baking powder, and Himalayan salt with an essential oil. Mix it all together and put a cup or two into your bath and soak in the hot water, as hot as you can stand it, for 20 minutes. And that helps. If you don't have a tub, you can do a foot soak. My brother-in-law, I was taking care of him and helping him. We were starting the detox process. And we had one of those little foot soak baths that sort of bubbled the water. And that's what I did. I put as hot as he could stand, and I put a combination, about 3/4 a cup, in the foot thing for 20 minutes. The first week or so, that water was black by the end of 20 minutes. And as we continued our detox process, it got where it was just regular water. But it works. It truly works. So another thing we need to think about when detoxing are the chemicals we use to clean the house. There is a documentary called Miracle, and it's about the miracle of chemicals. And the thing is that housewives have an 85% higher cancer risk because of the chemicals they use to clean their home. We need our homes clean, right? But there are simple, inexpensive things: white vinegar, peroxide, baking soda. And if you don't feel that's enough, there are commercial products like Thieves Cleaner that's put out by Young Living. Or I know that Melaleuca also has some safe cleaning products. This also comes to our personal care products, our cookware. It can be overwhelming, but these are the process as you move forward, things to address as you move forward. I think I have a sheet on detoxing I'll pass out later. There is an order in detoxing. One of the things that I usually recommend is you start drinking dandelion root tea 3 to 4 times a day for 4 to 6 weeks. And what this does is it opens up your elimination pathways. If your elimination pathways are not open in order to pass those toxins, you can make yourself very, very, very sick. Theoretically, you can die from detoxing too much. And what happens is all that stuff gets out and it gets reabsorbed if it can't pass out of your body. Sometimes you can detox too fast and have a healing crisis. Some people call it herxing. but it's a healing crisis, and you need to back off, slow down, making sure, you're drinking your dandelion root tea, getting enough water, making sure you got enough fiber so you're passing your bowels movements. All right, next wall is assess for allergens. So the most common food sensitivities or allergens is gluten, dairy, eggs, soy, corn, nuts, and yeast. Now, some people think, oh, well, I don't have an allergy, but they don't realize that bloating, flatulence, the froggy cough, runny nose, joint pain, brain fog, rash, these can be signs of an intolerance or a sensitivity. A good documentary is called Allergies, A Natural Approach. And there's another book, there's a book out, it's called Hidden Food Allergies. And that really gives a lot of information about determining your allergies and sensitivities and detoxing from them, and how to, even talks about food, rotating diet, your eating patterns and stuff. You can have food allergy tests done by the hair or by needles or blood. Next, supplement for nutritional deficiency. I mentioned about how many people are deficient in vitamin D. Over 80% of people are deficient in magnesium. The reason for that is sugar. For every part of sugar we consume, it takes 54 parts of magnesium to process it. Okay? Now this is not fruit like you're eating a whole piece of fruit. This is like processed sugar, your products. When you're consuming that, it takes magnesium to process it. So that's a lot of magnesium for one part of sugar. Did you know vitamin D is needed for insulin production? For serotonin, magnesium, and vitamin D. And serotonin, we think of that's your sleep. That helps with sleep, it helps with mood. But it's used by the pancreas about releasing insulin. If you don't have enough serotonin, the insulin is not going to be released that you need your body to to deal with the blood sugar. It can even cause sleep apnea, not enough serotonin. And another important point about nutritional deficiencies is that they work hand in hand together. So if you're short on one nutrient, that's going to make it hard for your body to produce another one because it works together. Like magnesium and vitamin D work together. Emotional healing. So I mentioned the spiritual life. But one thing that I learned over the years is that if we have unprocessed emotional trauma, our bodies will not heal. You can be doing all the right things. You can be making the lifestyle changes. I want to tell you, I've worked with a lot of people over the years, and I've had clients that they're making all the changes, doing all the things right, and nothing's happening. And I can ask them, is there something that happened, in the past, some emotional trauma that you haven't dealt with? 100% of the time, every single person would look at me and they'd go, well, yeah. We got to deal with it. From my own personal experience, it's not until I dealt with my own emotional stuff that I was able to start healing. It's so, so important. So we have our foundation, we've got our 4 walls, and now we have our roof. An attitude of gratitude is very, very important for true health. Negativity is one of the largest cause of depression. What I usually recommend for clients is creating a gratitude list. So every day you're going to write this list out. 5 new things every single day. New things each day. Read it out loud in the morning and in the evening. What this does is that it creates new pathways in your brain. I would have a extreme negative attitude, and I learned about this, made a huge difference. While you're working on this, be sure to laugh. Find something to laugh about. You know, laughter is great medicine, the Bible tells us. It's also a great pain reliever. Our mind is a powerful tool, and it can keep us stuck in illness, or it can move us forward to healing. So remember, the foundation of health is the new start. Nutrition, exercise, water, sunshine, temperance, air, rest, and trust in divine power. I really like this sign. I think it's cute. You know, how things have changed over 4,000 years. Everything that we have going on in this world today is connected to the great controversy between God and Satan. Everything. And that's the health system too. God has health laws, like New Start. For every one of God's truth, Satan has a counterfeit. It's a very interesting quote. Said Dr. Greenberg says, as a retired physician, I can honestly say that unless you are in a serious accident, your best chance of living to a ripe old age is to avoid doctors and hospitals and learn nutrition, herbal medicine, and other forms of natural medicine, unless you are fortunate enough to have a naturopathic physician available. Almost all drugs are toxic and are designed only to treat symptoms and not to cure anyone. If they cured, you would not need a refill. Health is the true wealth. Without your health, we have nothing. The majority of people spend their lives trying to accumulate riches and then spend their later years using that wealth to recover their health. So when diet is wrong, medicine is of no use. When diet is correct, medicine is no need. Every bite you eat is either a choice for health or disease. The standard American diet leads to the standard American diseases and the standard American prescriptions. So this is a small summary. I have a 10-week health class, and this is a small summary From my own personal experience, the things that I've shared tonight, I have done. I've experienced the healing. I don't like pain. I don't like pain. And to me, walking in obedience to God's health laws, following this new start, it is so worth it to be able to live with restored health. I'll be sharing more about that tomorrow. You know, I didn't think I would live long enough to see my youngest son reach 18. I'd made guardianship arrangements and everything. That's how sick I was. I couldn't walk without a walker. When I went to the store, I had to ride one of those electric wheelchairs. I couldn't remember anything more than 2 seconds. I was in so much pain, so much pain. I was taking 15 medications multiple times a day. In January of 2013, I started making some changes. My life is totally different. Things I never thought could be healed, but it's healed. And I'm on no medications. I take no prescription drugs at all. So I know if God did it for me, he can do it for anyone out there if you're willing to do what it takes. Any questions?
So we're opening the floor. Huh? I got yellow and white.
Okay. Can I ask, what was in that hot foot tub bath? Or the regular?
Oh, okay.
How much and what?
Epsom salt.
How much?
What I did is I got a gallon jar, and I would just do 1 cup each until the jar, and I just stir as I go. Or I'd take a big, large bowl and fill it, a gallon jar.
So each of the things you're going to list, you get?
A 1-to-1 ratio.
Okay.
So Epsom salt, sea salt or Himalayan salt, and baking soda. And then you can use an essential oil if you like frankincense or lavender. I would not suggest peppermint, but something, a cool oil, and you drop it into the powder and then mix it. If you just put it into the water, it just floats on the top and it's not going to do anything.
Okay, what was the oils again?
Any essential oil like frankincense or lavender. Lavender is really good if you like to soak in the tub in the evening because it's very relaxing. My son liked, what is it called, bergamot? I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. It's a French.
I don't like the smell of lavender. How can I get over that?
What?
I don't like the smell of lavender. How can I get over that? I need something to cover up the smell. I just don't like it.
Oh, well then don't use it. I mean, my son didn't either. That's why he switched to the other. There are all sorts of oils that are relaxing. That's not lavender smelling.
What about clove oil?
Clove oil?
That one to try?
I have never tried clove oil. Clove oil is great for pain, especially it's well known for tooth pain. I tell you though that if you have an exposed nerve, it will burn like the dickens before it kills the pain. I had a long time ago. But I tell you what, it got me through until I was able to get into the dentist.
I believe when you talked about sunlight, you used something with 10,000 IUs.
10,000 IUs. It is,
What is that all about?
IUs is like international unit. It's how they measure vitamin D when they take the tests.
I think he's asking about the trace minerals.
Oh, trace
Is that
minerals?
what you're asking about? That?
No.
No?
Okay.
In your presentation,
IU is international
you
units.
said something about 10,000 IUs. And what is an IU and what about the measurement?
I just know IU is a type of measurements that they measure vitamin D in, okay? Some nutrients are measured in milligrams, okay? Vitamin D is measured in IUs.
So if you were to buy a vitamin D, does it have IUs on it?
Yes, it'll
Okay.
say 1,000 IUs or 5,000 IUs.
And what is a normal one that an average individual needs? Is there a certain amount of?
I would say that it depends upon your daily sun exposure. If you tend to be inside a lot, I would personally take 10,000 IUs. Now, myself, I take 5,000, but during the winter, I up it. And I don't do it every day. I do it like 3 times a week. I'll take 10,000. And then the rest of the time, just 5.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Toby?
Since I recognize it's not an if, vitamin D is so important, why are physicians so reluctant to do a test? It seems like you have to pull teeth to get a vitamin D level.
I know, and a lot won't give it. I will tell you, I don't know why. I mean, I don't know why. And a lot of them, they'll say, if your levels are at 30, they'll say, oh, your vitamin D is high enough. No. I was watching this docuseries on autoimmune, and they were saying that even up to 150, I'm blanking on the designation, was safe. And they gave example after example after example how people were healed from all these chronic health issues by raising their vitamin D.
It sounds like that's raising it above what everybody calls normal now.
Right. And they tell you, like I mentioned earlier, they tell you to avoid the sun from 10 to 3. But that is the best time to get the angle you need for the most, your skin to produce the most. And it needs like your arms and your face to hit, okay? The sun needs to be on your arms and face. In your eyes for the production of melatonin.
I have a question. So if you feel, here in Arkansas, we have it could be 95 degrees and you're trying to get some sun, but it's so hot, so you don't need very much, right?
Oh, no.
You feel it's starting to burn, that's too much?
Yeah, I wouldn't go out and try to burn.
No.
Now, if you are going to be out in the sun a lot, so in the spring, what I enjoy doing is going out for 15, 20 minutes, going back in, and then just slowly build up your tan, and then you're not going to burn. And then when you're out later, you can stay out later without it being a problem. I am very sensitive to the heat, so I get out in the morning and work until 10, 11, and then go back in the afternoon, 3 o'clock, 4, and work some more, like when I'm doing my garden and everything. That's because I'm very sensitive to the heat.
Yeah, I had yeah, you can hear me, but the recording can't. On the D3 again, I've heard that just face and arms isn't really enough to really get enough in you. And I've also heard that if you're going to supplement to get your amount that you need, it has to be done in combination with K2 and fats.
Yes, it is best to make sure you get vitamin K2 with your D. Some supplements come combined. Some people just make sure they're eating, you're eating your food. You're eating vegetables and things like that are going to have that in it. Now, a lot of the vitamin D that people take comes from lanolin, which is the oil from sheep wool. Okay? Some use mushrooms. Mushrooms have very high vitamin D. Some foods are fortified with vitamin D. I don't know how they fortify. I'm not suggesting milk, but I know that they used to fortify milk, cow's milk, in the past. I don't know whether this is how they do it now, but they would run it through this little canal, like this chute with glass, and the sun would hit it. And it would create vitamin D in the milk because of the fat in it. That's how they fortify. I don't know whether that's still how they fortify. I doubt it. But that's how they used to fortify.
How many seconds was that?
Huh?
How many seconds did it?
I don't know. If your skin is relatively light, you only need like 30 minutes. If you don't have a lot of padding and your skin is relatively light. Your skin is dark or you have a lot of padding, you might need an hour to get enough for the day.
Do we process vitamin D differently as individuals? I mean, is there a range that
Yes. And it really depends upon your liver health, because that is where your vitamin D is processed, is in your liver. If you have a liver that is not working very well, then it's not going to process the vitamin D as effectively.
So you need more to get the effect?
Yes, you would need more. And I will tell you, I experienced this myself because I was taking 5,000 IUs of vitamin D, and this is a number of years ago, and I was a lot heavier than I am now, and my vitamin D levels was at 20. And I was like, what? How can that be? And so I started researching, and then I started working on my liver, detoxing my liver. And then I also increased the amount I was taking, and my vitamin D levels went up.
I've been testing about vitamin D, and there was 25. And I talked to my daughter Tanya, and I increased more. Now I take some osteoporosis test, how do you call that? Yeah. And they called me last week, my doctor here for Bismarck, and told me I have a little bit start with osteoporosis.
I Oh,
So she just had a test, and in her test, it reveals that she's got a startup of osteoporosis in her bones. Just a little.
yeah.
They told me to increase my vitamin D3. I used to take 10,000 a day, and there was 25. That she said is too low. So now
Yeah,
I'm taking
25
more.
is low.
Yeah.
I will tell you, now remember this is educational purposes. Boron helps hold calcium in your bones. Now, drinking cow's milk does not give your body the calcium,
I used to, but for a couple of months, I never drink milk.
but a lot of people think they need to drink milk for calcium. But when you drink cow's milk, the protein is so high. In order to process the protein, your body pulls the calcium from your bones to help process the protein. So what do? You then have weak bones. But boron, the nutrient, helps hold the calcium in your bones. Okay? Boron also helps detox fluoride.
Where's the best place to get boron in your diet?
Well, no, actually, that is what a lot of people use. They use the 20 mule thing, borax.
20 mule team borax.
Uh-huh. I have been using it for years. I take half a teaspoon and put it in a quart of water and stir it up. And there are therapeutic levels that you can look. Some people take half a teaspoon once a day of the water, not of boron, of the water. You made your quart and they take half a teaspoon. There are some people who use boron for cancer treatments, and a therapeutic level requires more than half a teaspoon of your boron water. That is easily found online if you want to search it out.
About food.
Food, your veggies and everything, your fruits and vegetables are the best source of all your minerals. Himalayan salt, I mentioned Himalayan salt. One of the things I do to make sure I get my minerals, including boron, is make Himalayan salt solution. So this is a quart of water with about 1.5 tablespoons of Himalayan salt. You can also use Celtic salt. The difference between Himalayan and Celtic is Celtic has an extra molecule of magnesium. And this is what I use for electrolytes, but it has all the minerals your body needs. And it does have boron in it.
I have a question about rebounder.
Uh-huh.
My mother has some health issues with her back, and she is hard to walk. Like you were saying, she cannot walk. And she was wanting to know, would she be benefited if she were to do any rebounding, even though with her condition of her back?
I think everyone can benefit from the rebounder. What she might need to do is to sit on it and have someone bounce her. Like I told you, I shared the story of the man who, let me demonstrate what he did. She sat, and he was behind her. Okay, so she sat on the rebounder, and he got behind her and just pushed behind her. And what that did is that started stimulating, number one, the lymph system. Number two, it gives all your cells a massage, and they end up getting rid of the toxins inside of themselves. It's amazing. It really is. Now, even if all you can do is 1 or 2 minutes to start with, do 1 or 2 minutes. And then slowly, every 2 or 3 days, try to do another minute or 2. There's a basic bounce. It's called the health bounce. And it's just standing like this and just doing like this. Your feet are not leaving the mat. You're just doing this. There are rebounders that have a bar, okay? Or you can place it where you have a chair beside you so you can hang on. But I would start sitting down and have someone bounce you, and just, that would get things flowing and going.
And maybe more, several times a day if you could.
Yes.
And especially if you could have some fresh air while you're doing it.
I have a testimony about a rebounder because I bought actually a big bouncer at home, and I got so excited and I got on the bouncer and I bounced quite a bit. Within 3 days I was really sick and I couldn't figure out what it was, but then I recognized I overdid it, and I drained all the toxins out at one time and my body couldn't handle it and I got sick.
Okay, this is an example of a healing crisis, okay? Her elimination pathways were not open completely. And so the rebounding, it helps empty the toxins in your cells. And it gets your lymph fluid, your lymph system is your body sewer system. And most of us have stagnant lymph fluid. So if we can get it moving by rebounding and everything, and see, the rebounding is easier on your joints because there's a give to it.
You were talking about a liver cleanse. What happens to people that don't have a gallbladder? What kind of liver cleanse can they do it if they don't have a gallbladder to do that, treatment where you can do it with apple juice and with olive oils and lemons? Is there some other way to do it?
Castor oil packs. That's what I've used, or castor oil packs. And then I would follow that with a lymph massage.
Could you demonstrate? What does that look like? What's a lymph massage? So you cannot really do a lymph massage on yourself. So the person would be laying down. And what I normally do, I start here and do circles and like this. And then you can start at the foot, and you're doing circles with your hands. Here, hold your hand out. Okay, so you're doing like this. Okay? So you're going to do this all the way up to here. You've got some lymph nodes here, here, here. And you're going to do all this all the way up here on both arms, and then the legs. And then I get over here and I start with the neck. And so you're going this way, and then you're going to go back to the abdomen area and finish up there. A good lymph massage will take about 45 minutes at least. Do you have to be deep, or can it be just the surface, or is it a deep?
No, it's not really, really deep, but it's not just surface. It's pushing, because you're stimulating movement for that lymph fluid. Now, what I do with people I'm working with, they usually do a castor oil pack first. So they're laying with that castor oil on their abdomen area for an hour, and they usually snooze. And then when it's over, I do the lymph massage. And they usually end up going to the bathroom a lot, which is good because you're passing the toxins. Any other questions?
It seems like walking would do the same thing that the rebounder does.
Yes, walking does help with lymph movement. Whether it's as good or not, I don't know. I don't know because I have done a lot of walking, but I didn't have as much detoxing effect as when I started using the rebounder.
What about the machine that they have, the astronauts they use up in the space, supposedly, where they get on and they kind of bounce you like that sideways? What is that called, Jack? Do you know what I'm talking about? What they do, it's like it takes you from one side to another side. It's almost like I don't know. Jack, what is that machine that we have at home? Are you familiar with it?
Mm-mm.
No, okay. Okay, I don't know the name of it, but you get on it, and what it does, it almost like if you're walking steps, like you're stepping up and down, up and down, up and down, and it takes you from different variation of speed to really slow to really, really fast. And even when you sit on it, it can tell that your heart rate goes up.
I don't know, is that like one of those stepping machines or
No,
something? I
you
don't
just
know.
sit on it. You just stand on it. You stand on it like this, and you grab a hold of it, and it just kind of vibrate you up and down,
Yeah.
up and down like that.
Well, that sounds like it would do a very similar job. I wanted to tell you that in the morning, we will be talking about germ theory versus terrain theory. Okay, our medical system is based on the belief of germ theory. And New Start is built on the belief of terrain theory. I will just leave that at that. I would appreciate if you would be sure to fill out one of those little cards. If you have any more questions.
Is there a way of using a binder with the detox in case you're not all the way clear?
Yes. Let me. Okay. This is detox information. Can you go ahead and pass this out? 2 sheets. It's 2. Okay, I will tell you that the detox information, this is the order of organs that need to be detoxed in. Okay, I was saying earlier you need to do it in a certain order. If you go through there, you will see that dandelion root works on all your elimination pathways except for your lymph system. Okay? And that's why I recommend starting with dandelion root tea 3 to 4 times a day, 4 to 6 weeks, before you move on to like parasites and mold and heavy metals. Heavy metals should be last, and it should be done under the guidance of someone who knows what they're talking about, okay? I would never recommend anyone detox heavy metals without having a natural health professional work with them. A naturopath, somebody who knows what they're doing, because you can make yourself very, very sick if you start detoxing heavy metals and do it improperly. You mentioned binders. Yes, once you get everything opened up, you can use binders for parasites and heavy metals. And this sheet tells you different types you can use. When you're using binders, you need to be careful the timing. You do not take them with your food or anything else. You usually, like if you take any medications or supplements, you take the binder either 1 hour before or 2 hours after. Because other words, it will take your other stuff out with it. Any other questions?
Oh, we're not familiar with the castor oil patch. Is that something that's
Okay.
external?
Yes, it's external.
That's good because it has a pretty foul taste.
Okay, so a castor oil pack, one thing you can do, you can take a piece of flannel or an old cloth diaper, or I've even used an old t-shirt that I've cut the arms out, okay? And I highly recommend you use organic castor oil. But you take a baggie and put your oil in there with your cloth and get it wet where it's soaked up, okay? Now, what I usually do if I'm going to do a wrap on somebody, I have them lay on their bed or on the couch or a massage table, wherever the person is. And I'm going to put a protective sheet underneath and a towel. And then they're going to lay down, and I am going to put the material, the flannel or whatever I chose to soak in castor oil, on their abdomen. And then I am going to cover it with saran wrap and put a heating pad on top. And then you can cover it with a towel and then the sheet. And they just lay there for an hour. Okay? And then usually after that, I'll do the lymph massage.
You can purchase the pads on Amazon. They make them if you don't want to go to the trouble of all that. So
They do. They have these special packs that wrap around you. Yeah, they have special packs that wrap around you that you could put, But castor oil will dissolve anything that's not supposed to be there. So if you've got clogged arteries, you can put the castor oil over that part. If I was diagnosed with clogged arteries, and I had a risk of stroke, I would put castor oil wraps around. I would just put them right here and lightly put a scarf around so it wasn't uncomfortable and sleep with it every night.
They have these bed pads that are like 30 inches by 24. You can cut those up and use those because they have the plastic on one side.
Yes.
And they have the sorbing material on the other side. You can put the castor oil on. And those
Yeah.
work really good.
Yes, when I learned about doing that, I've used those. And you can reuse it. You can reuse these and just fold them and put them in a plastic Ziploc bag and reuse it. So, yeah, she mentioned those little pee pads. You can get them at a dollar store, doggy training pee pads, and just cut them to the size. If you were wanting them, like for right here, you could put them right there. You could even use paper tape and put, But I will tell you, I developed scarring, and what I did, I was too uncomfortable keeping the castor oil pack on at night. It kept dislodging because of the way I sleep. I started putting it in my belly button, and it started dissolving the scars just by putting it in my belly button.
Is this going over the air? I want to ask a private question.
Ask it later.
Okay.
So,
You even mentioned, because a friend of mine wanted to know about bone spur.
yes. Jack was asking me about bone spurs. You can put the castor oil on the bone spur, like put a pack. Like, if I had one on my heel, I would, at night, before I go to bed, I'd take one of those little pads and put it on there and put a sock on it and do that. And it's not a speedy process. It takes time, but it works. I've seen it, okay? I have seen it. I've experienced it. Most amazing thing. Castor oil is simply amazing. Any other questions? Okay. Please fill out that little registration card thing and drop it in the basket at the back.
Is it this?
Yes. It has name and everything. Did everyone get one? Yeah, and the evaluation form. You could fold them and put them in the basket at the end. And tomorrow morning is germ theory versus terrain. And then the 11 o'clock hour, I will be sharing my personal testimony. In the afternoon, it's food and behavior. It's about brain health. Okay? And then Sunday will be about becoming a health detective. And then I'll have a short presentation about healthy holiday meals. Here. This is what is true health. This presentation is what is true health. Did everyone get the detoxing information? All right. Let's close in a word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we just come thank you so much because you have made our bodies in such amazing ways that if we give them what they need, they can heal. You created us to self-heal by design. And Lord, we just thank you and praise you, for we are wonderfully made. And Lord, we pray that you will help each of us as we go forward to begin implementing better choices so that we can be in the best health possible. Help us, dear Lord, so we can be in the health so we can fulfill your God-given purpose for us. In Jesus' precious name, amen.